So in my previous segments, we heard Rich Paul easing up and jonesing James Dolan, Mike Brown, and talking up the New York Knicks organization to a degree, stating how the whole league is different when the Knicks are in the finals, and even going as far as to coming to the defense of James Dolan when Max Kellerman went on one of his mini rants. Matter of fact, I'll link that in the description below. But right here, Brian Windhorst once again gives great insight into how LeBron James is kind of reevaluating his options come next season. The Knicks right now are in championship contention, and who knows, for the right price, maybe LeBron James could come to New York. The way the team salary is structured right now, maybe it might be on a minimum deal, but a championship in New York really goes far for his brand, and that's what he's really all about. But you guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
And I don't know if he's going to have an answer in June. I don't know where he's going to be with that. He may not know for sure until later. But he's going to have to decide that. That's going to be first. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, will he play? How much money is he willing to play for? Is he willing to play for $30 million? Is he willing to play for $15 million? I mean, Dirk Nowitzki twice took really big pay cuts to stay with the Mavericks. Now, it's debatable about whether those actually helped the Mavericks or whether they just saved a bunch of money because they didn't actually get functionally better. But that's neither here nor there. It's not unprecedented for a guy at the end of a 20-year career to take a big pay cut to stay with the team. If LeBron is determined to make the most money, it will probably not be with the Lakers. But pathway 2 is to stay with the Lakers for less money. How much less? A lot of variables we don't know yet. 3, would he go someplace else? If he becomes a free agent, would he go someplace else?
The real question is, will he go someplace else for less money if that team has a proper plan? Rob Pelinka this past offseason did not make any moves, and LeBron James, of course, opted back in. But had he been competent enough to present a proper plan to LeBron, I'm sure that he would have restructured his deal to make sure that the Lakers are competing on a higher level. And when the Knicks enter into the next offseason, they're going to have to look at quite a few things. The Deuce McBride contract, Jose Alvarado, Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet. Things are going to get quite tricky, because at the same time, they're going to have an additional draft pick to send out to possibly get Giannis. So LeBron James, in the midst of all this, might be willing to take even a deeper pay cut to compete for a championship, especially in New York. That's going to be good for his brand. My only issue is that will he accept coming off the bench and possibly playing in crunch time? Him starting on this Knicks roster would not make any sense.
And would he go someplace to make the most money? Or would he go someplace where he could take less money, but that he would feel comfortable or feel like he could win? It would probably, there's a good chance it would be his last year. He certainly has to go into it with a strong possibility it would be his last year. So he has to go to a place where he could be comfortable playing a year. And I think there's a couple of places where that might make sense. Cleveland is one of them.
Heat? You want to go down the
I'm not sure I put the Heat on the list.
Okay, where else? Where else?
You know,
Hey, Rich Eisman right here is fishing for the real answer, which is New York. He knows that shit in the back of his mind. Windhorst, tell me the truth. It's New York, isn't it?
Golden State, depending on how things go, would be one of them, depending on where their team is.
Would Kerr have to be there?
Maybe. I don't. But that's a good question.
Sure. Okay.
The fact that Golden State is on the table for LeBron, New York is definitely an option. Golden State is nowhere near competing for a championship.
Okay.
And there's a place or two that I won't say right now that I'm keeping my eye on.
Is that the finger thing?
I have a team or two that I think he could consider going to.
Okay.
And I have researched the concept.
Okay.
And I will continue to keep my eye on the concept.
Keep digging.
And let's just say that, you know, it's not without merit. It's just not something I'm going to say. And I don't mean to be a jerk that way.
No.
But I can't. I'm going to try to lay low this weekend. I don't need to be on every show trying to back up what I say.
You know, Brian Windhorst is very careful with his words when it comes to LeBron. They went to the same high school. So he has a major vested interest into making sure that the best basketball player of all time came from not only his hometown, but the same high school that he attended. Again, in my previous segments, we had heard Rich Paul apply a lot of pressure to Leon Rose to not stay complacent and make a bigger move, as he kept going on and on about Mikal Bridges and just Josh Hart, and the Knicks should just flip a few players to get a solidified guy. All these Midwest guys, Rich Paul, Brian Windhorst, Clutch Sports, when they speak, they choose their words very carefully, and the subjects they do talk about on the open air, it is more than likely reviewed and signed off on. So we'll see if Rich Paul continues to cozy up to James Dolan, Mike Brown, and the New York Knicks. That podcast he has with Max Kellerman does serve a purpose, and it is to propagate their agendas while they're facing a lot of arrows from the LA media in LeBron's last season out there. But we'll see how it plays out. Definitely interesting times in the league.